Hey guys, I hope you're all having a fantastic day so far. I would just like to take a second to thank you all for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I really do appreciate it. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I decided to make a quick little video about how I think the characters are going to progress and what we might see in The Last Jedi. Now, I am in no way a professional movie critic or analyst or anything like that. I'm not very good at analyzing. I'm just a fan of Star Wars, and I thought it'd be fun to make a little video about The Last Jedi and how I think things might play out. So don't expect any crazy theories or analysis. Anyways, let's just get right into it. So for Finn, I think we will see him take on a much more serious leadership role than in The Force Awakens. In The Force Awakens, he was more laid back, he cracked a few jokes, but his situation is actually really serious. He is a deserter. He did betray the First Order. So I think we'll see him take on much more of a serious tone in The Last Jedi. And it looks as though he'll be confronting his past, so to speak. We sort of see that as a possibility with his, in the trailer that was released, with his fight with Captain Phasma. So for Phasma, we didn't really get much information about her in The Force Awakens. So hopefully in The Last Jedi, we will actually see how badass she really is. Maybe we'll get to see how she came to power, how she plans to take down the Resistance. But it would be interesting to get a little bit more backstory on Finn and Phasma, and sort of how their story arcs may be related, they may be totally different. But it would be nice to just have a bit more information on both of them, really. There's a lot of different directions that I think Rey will be heading towards. The most obvious ones, she's going to be training under Luke. We just don't know exactly how Luke will be training her. Will she be a Jedi? Will she be a gray Jedi? Will she take some Sith aspects? We don't really know yet. From the trailer, it appears as though she comes in contact with Snoke at some point in the movie. It'll be interesting to see her struggle with the dark side, and if it ties into who her parents are. I, for one, am a firm believer in the fact that she is related to Emperor Palpatine, and even if she's not, I do hope that we find out who her parents are in this movie. I believe we will. I can't remember if there's confirmation or not, but hopefully we do. Now, my dream is that she is a Palpatine. I think that would be really awesome. I'll leave a link in the description below to a video about the fan theory that Rey is a Palpatine. I highly suggest you guys check it out. It is pretty interesting, and it's the main reason why I believe she is a Palpatine. However, I feel like the easy one, and honestly the one that I hope is not the case, is that she's a Skywalker or a Kenobi. However, I think the most likely one is that she's going to be a Solo. She's related to Han and Leia, which I guess would make her Skywalker, but she was born from Leia and Han, not Luke. I think that one's the most safe. The Kenobi theory seems kind of out there. I don't really know how or why she would, why would that be relevant or anything, but definitely Solo or I guess Skywalker. Those are the easy ones, just because there's been so much setup for those two, which is also why I think it might not be the case. They're trying to make us think that she's related to Skywalker and Solo, and then they'd be like, just kidding, she's related to Palpatine. Obviously there's a lot of setup for her being a Skywalker or Solo. A couple reasons. Most obvious reason is that Rey is a fantastic pilot, just as Han and Anakin were, and Luke. And she is obviously very strong with the Force, just as Anakin was and Luke was in the whole Skywalker bloodline. They're all very, strong in the Force. In the trailer that was released for The Last Jedi, Luke says, "I've only seen power like this once before. It didn't scare me then, but it does now." This could mean a lot of things. One, he was electrocuted / tortured by Palpatine in The Return of the Jedi. That could also be what Luke is referring to when he said that line, where he's seen power like this before. That is a possibility, since Luke in Return of the Jedi was not afraid of Palpatine whatsoever. And then all of a sudden he's being tortured and electrocuted, and then maybe after that he was like, oh geez, maybe I should be a bit more careful in the future. The other possibility is that he is referring to Kylo, since he also has a ton of raw power that Luke dismissed and that Snoke sort of capitalized on. This led to Kylo falling to the dark side, which led to the fall of Luke's new Jedi Order that he was training. he's most likely talking about Kylo, but it also could just be more of the trailer leading us on to believe that, because in the trailer, he says that line, and then after he says that, we sort of see Luke bursting out of, a bunch of rubble and watching a temple burn down, which obviously relates to Kylo destroying everything Luke had built up with the new Jedi Order and all that stuff. Now, for Luke, this is the one I'm most interested about to see how his character sort of progresses. I personally believe that Luke is wanting to disband the Jedi because he believes that their philosophy is flawed. He thinks that in order for there to be balance, you must use both the dark side and the light side of the Force. Kyle Katarn from the Jedi Knight series, he believes that Force users should be able to use both the light side and the dark side of the Force. What only matters is how you use the Force. And I'm really hoping they use the term Gray Jedi in the film, because that was sort of an expanded universe phrase, and since Disney sort of got rid of everything that was the expanded universe, they may not use Gray Jedi, but I really hope they do. That'd be really awesome. And another thing, I hope we see some dark side power action coming from Luke in the film, whether it be Force lightning or something else. I think it'd be really cool if we got to see that side of Luke, since I know in the expanded universe, Luke did dabble in the dark side, and he was able to produce Force lightning. So it'll be interesting to see if Rian Johnson wanted to keep something like that and sort of show it off. So Leia is where things get kind of interesting. With the passing of Carrie Fisher, it's unlikely that Leia will survive this movie. However, that doesn't mean she won't have a huge impact on the characters. I believe that Leia will be the reason Kylo comes back to the light, but only after she either maybe sacrifices herself somehow or makes Kylo see all the wrongdoings he's done. Or Snoke may sense Kylo's pull to the light and have Leia killed somehow, which in turn will cause Kylo to lash out at Snoke and lead him to leaving the dark side behind and avenging his mother. Much like how Anakin avenged his mother. But it's interesting because Anakin avenging his mother led him to the dark side, but in this case, Kylo avenging his mother will lead him to the light side. We know that Kylo has been struggling with the dark side and the light side. With the death of Han Solo, one could argue that his allegiance to the dark side is solidified. However, I really don't think that's the case. As was stated previously, when I was talking about Leia, I do believe he'll come back to the light after Leia's death. I don't think that Kylo will kill Leia as the trailer suggests. However, they may have shown that because Kylo may end up feeling responsible for her death somehow, which will cause him to swing back to the light. I also believe that Kylo will at some point in the movie try to help Rey find herself. It may not be as clear-cut and obvious as the trailer showed, but I do think that Kylo really does want to help her. It could be because of family ties or simply because he relates to her, because she may at some point struggle between the dark side and the light side. This might happen because while she's training under Luke, he might warn her about the pull to the dark side while Snoke is trying to manipulate her or torture her somehow to make her join the dark side. This may resonate with Kylo, which again explains why he is desperate to help her. So that's going to be it. I'm really excited for this movie. I've been waiting for it for so long. After all of the questions that were left unanswered in The Force Awakens, finally, we might get some answers. I'm really excited to see how all these characters progress, and I really can't wait to find out who Rey's parents are. I really hope we find out in this film. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. With that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next week.